Okay, so oftentimes in gold prospecting, we are faced with a number of different challenges, and sometimes we just have to just take a step back and think about what we're doing. We know that we want the equipment to be light. We want it to be easy to work with. And most important of all, to where it is getting gold all the time. And you know, I've invented a lot of things in the past to help me get gold, and everything I've ever built has gotten me pretty good gold. Some things better than others, and this is kind of just another step. So basically, we've got our centrifuge. I was going to turn this into a trommel, but I'm thinking I need something that's going to be a little bit quicker acting, and something that isn't going to require power or wheels or any other moving parts to actually function. So I'm kind of electing to make a rocker box again, and this is the perfect little thing to make one out of. So basically, I've decided to seal off this end, and I'm going to think about making some kind of an opening at the top to put the material in. How we're going to be doing that, I'm not too sure. What it could be is I could make a latch system that opens up and then closes. There's a lot of different things I can be doing. But to make the first cut is the deciding factor in all this. So I've got to be pretty sure of what I'm doing. Trommel action is really good. Trommel action is basically the best way to recover gold from your clays, and you know, it's kind of the pinnacle of mining. But sometimes you either can't afford the material. Sometimes you just need something that's going to be a hybrid that does a little bit of everything. And that's where I'm trying to go with this little invention that's going to be taking place pretty soon. So with hydrodynamics in mind, and the weight of water and that kind of thing, I have to kind of factor in, this thing is going to be rocking. The water level is going to be changing. It's going to be sloshing around and doing a whole lot of things that, you know, are going to be pretty challenging to retain water. So the opening, you can probably see that there, this just kind of a square. It's not huge. And I've elected to do that because I do want to retain as much water as possible. Specifically because the creeks that I'm in, they don't retain water for very long. So I think that's a pretty good size for an opening, for an entry. These two sections here probably at this stage should remain intact because they also need to retain water sloshing around. I may need to attach like a spray bar to whatever side that I'm using. And so it's just little, you know, areas like that to consider to leave alone, so that later on we can actually go and we can make adjustments and do other things with it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to make an incision along here. I'm going to square this up, and we'll see what we can do. Just got our cutter here. And always very important to make sure you wear some headphones, earmuffs, and eye protection, which I'm not wearing at the moment. So here we go. And this is sort of the other thing you want to consider when working with barrels. You know, this material is pretty, it's pretty durable. Like, that's pretty strong, high impact plastic. But it's only strong to a certain point. So what you want to kind of consider is, well, if I was to make this hole too big on top, it's going to weaken the structure a little bit too much. So this is why I'm opting for kind of smallish cuts. And if we find they're durable enough to handle big rocks, clay, and that amount of water and the force that we're using, it's not going to buckle or bend, then we can make the holes bigger. We're just going kind of with a basic opening. So here we go again. Let's get the hard parts first. That's the other thing I've had to try and learn with this stuff. If you've got guiding lines on cutting and stuff like this, try and go with the hardest stuff first. And just rely upon those guiding lines to help you at the end. Use all your energy for the hard stuff first. Slow as well. That's one of the hardest things I've had to learn. Cutting into plastic or any expensive material like this, take it slow. It's always a good idea to just not rush. Okay, we're going to do the easy sides up now. I hate messing up expensive stuff. I'd rather get it right the first time. Okay. So, turning blue. Become initiated by the Bucket Society, so all right. Now for these little ends here, I can take a little X-Acto knife, which I've got here. This is a really good one. I bought it at Bunnings. I'm going to see if I can just come along and just nick the sides and get them off, rather than saw into them, because the last thing I want to do... Oh, and I just did it. You see that? I went too far. So easy to fuck up. And the more you do that, the more you destabilize plastic. And over time, cracks can form and a whole bunch of other stuff. We got that. There we go. There's our opening. And again, I'm just going to take down the other sides very carefully. This is a bit like music producing as well. It is so easy to mess up something good with just one fuck up. Fuck one thing up in the chain, in the signal chain, and it impacts the entire project. No different here. It's no different with anything. So be careful. All right, so we're not throwing anything away with this little bucket trommel, bucket rocker box, rocker bucket, whatever. And still, that's really nice. high impact plastic. But what it tells me as well is I've done the right thing. Because even though this looks strong, like super strong on the outside, it feels a little bit like it's giving way, just a bit. I know it is still strong, it's just very, very pliable. So that smaller square is better than cutting out a huge thing of it and destabilizing the whole thing. All right, let's get moving. So we got this. What else do we want to do? We've got to think about a few things. What is the media on the inside going to be like? Do we want just mats down there? Do we want something to agitate the material? What do we want to happen? I think the first thing to consider is this this lid we've permanently attached on there. We have a bit of sealant on the inside. We probably want to go and maybe just seal again on there as a first step. I can't see in there because it's dark. But I'll have to think about how we're going to do that. Because the last thing you want is gold to be sitting in those cracks and you just can't flush it out. So that's one of the first priorities to consider. And let's see if we can actually turn this around and I can turn my light on. Because I think a bit of that sealant's come through. But probably not enough to actually properly seal up the bucket. So we might just go ahead and we'll go along the inside with the caulking gun and square that away before anything else happens. And I'm going to make this live stream public so people can kind of get a gist. If you want to make your own, you sort of got it there. So we'll have to do this part in sections. So I'm holding the camera. I'm trying to do all this stuff at once. Just going along and sealing up anywhere gold can actually hide in, because it will. Gold likes to take the path of least resistance. And it doesn't matter what you do, the physics are all the same. If there's a place that gold can hide, it will. Cover it. So, always good. And do these things in the very beginning, whatever you build. And you thank yourself later on. Oh, shit. All right, I'm going to have to put the camera down for this part. But what I'm doing is basically going along and sealing that little crack on the inside. Now I'm going to have to actually turn the lights on. And maybe we can come over here and get a better view. I'm not sure. I know what, I am going to have that set down, so my apologies, but I'm just sealing along the inside of where where that crack is. Just to make darn certain the gold can't be hiding anywhere in that bucket and not ejecting whenever I want it to. This is going to be a really fun build. I can already tell. I'm already having fun now, so. That's what you want. You want to. It's not just about gold, it's about having fun, learning along the way. It's going to be the hardest part, trying to get right up in there. Okay. Now, just a quick point. This stuff is the worst. No matter what you do, you're always going to get some of this roof and gutter shit on your fingers or something else. So I recommend these. I'll show you. Just the shittiest plastic, disposable plastic gloves, just to protect your hands. I really don't like getting this stuff on my fingers. It's oily and it's terrible, and it smells bad. I'm sure it's carcinogenic, so I don't like it. Protect your fingers, protect your hands. So, and this way you can take and just form that stuff around the inside of whatever you're trying to seal. And God forbid, if you're trying to use this stuff for its intended purpose, you want to be doing the same thing. Roof and gutter is pretty nasty stuff, but it works. Even the cheap stuff works. So, all right, so I'm just basically running my finger along the inside of that crack and just forming all around where any of those little depositions in the plastic can be hiding any gold. Insurmountably, incredibly important step. That's what I'm doing right now. I've made bucket centrifuges in the past, and I've failed to do this step, and I was wondering why I wasn't getting gold until I actually, a couple years later, started cleaning out the machines that I was making and realized that gold was tucking itself down in all the cracks of the machines that I was building. And I wound up with like nearly half a gram just by cleaning out the machine. And not, I was like, oh, okay, well, there was gold down there. Well, what the hell do I do now? I can't remember where it was exactly. So what do I do? So you don't want to wind up in that position either. Just make sure you block your crack. Block your cracks. Alrighty, that's looking pretty good. I don't want to do too much on that, but that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to give you a shot on the inside of what that should look like, and we've protected our hands, so that's pretty good. And as I said, I'm going to be making this particular stream public because I think it's important for all the viewers that have kind of followed along where I've been doing gold. And, maybe you can build your own little thing. I mean, 10 times better than I am. Should look something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect because we will go along the inside again just to kind of reseal things, but at least that's giving us to where the gold can't hide anywhere. All right, so our little rocker box centrifuge should be looking kind of like that. Pretty basic. And if you've got a bucket at home that looks something like that one, you can do the same thing with that. Just put the lid on there and seal it up. And I chose this thing. It's like a feeder bucket because it's a little bit longer. It's it's very robust plastic material, and it's very easy to work with. So that's our centrifuge. Now, for those of you who are new to gold or new to prospecting equipment, DIY or anything like that, basically the mechanics of this is in a conventional rocker box, you have a square basic centrifuge which acts as the sluice box as well, and you have an assembly up top that helps to sieve the material and to classify and that sort of thing. What I've found is it's all well and good to classify and have that little top box and stuff, but what I do find is it kind of impedes progress as far as working quickly. Generally, the physics will take care of itself in a rocker box situation. The physics being the heavy stuff, all of your lead, heavy metals, and heavy rocks are going to fall to the bottom, and of course your gold is going to fall right to the very bottom. And that motion, that stratification motion, which is your back and forth, is going to be violent enough to take care of that process of classification by itself, you know. Not to say that I wouldn't later on maybe think about making a classifier, but it's just not, if you're trying to work quickly and just get the damn gold, you know, basic is best. The basic, most simple way is best. And there is a term, it's called KISS, K-I-S-S, which is keep it stupid simple, or keep it simple stupid. So if you apply that rule to whatever you're doing, you're basically going to wind up with a very, very good product that is very cheaply done, and there's not a whole lot of moving parts, and that just works, you know. I don't like building machines that have too many functioning moving parts because there's more to break on it. You see what I mean? All right, so basically now, the point I want to come to now is what sort of media are we going to put? Grinding media in here? Are we going to have, I mean, obviously the rocks, the heavier rocks are going to be the grinding media. But as far as like a mat, what are we going to use for this? In my experience, the best sort of mats to use for a rocker box are going to be material like this. Just something that's going to allow for these cells to fill up with the heavy material, and your gold maybe get caught in little places like that, so you don't have too much to clean up. The fact that we have basically very fine gold in the creeks that we work in, you want to kind of use something like this. Now this stuff is pretty much, it's miner's moss, and look at that. This stuff traps gold like you would not believe. It is the most perfect all-purpose mat you can possibly buy. And the great thing is, it's about $8 at your local hardware store. It came from Bunnings. And very cheap, very easy to replace. And it just works, you know. And it's got this solid backing on the bottom side, so you aren't going to lose gold. So what we might do is I'm going to chuck that in there. I know it's probably a little bit big. I'm going to do it anyway. And I want to see firsthand how that's going to travel in this situation. I need two hands, but I've got to fold it. But we're going to go and with any luck, is it? Oh, you know what? I think that, oh, it's kind of going to be the same size. Let's go from the other end. There we go. I think it'll be round about the size that we need to make this thing work. We can use it long ways, or we can use it short ways. The whole idea is that this mat is going to sit down there. It's going to catch all the gold. And you know what? I think we might run this long ways. We might run this the other way. Turn it around just like that. Inside the centrifuge. Pull it to the back like that. And think about in a scenario in a creek where we've got our material in there churning up. We've got a spray bar maybe hooked there. It's blowing all material to the back. Everything is going to be resting. Eventually, the heavy stuff is going to work its way into that mat. All right, so how then do we reinforce that? Well, here's where this stuff comes in handy. This was even cheaper. I think it's about probably maybe $6 for this thing. So this thing, which is kind of a classifier mat, that can actually sit on the very top of the miner's moss mat. And that can kind of weigh it down a little bit. and sort of protect, because you got to remember too, some of the rocks that you're going to be having in this thing are going to be pretty formidable. Some of them can be sharp. If you're having that motion where you've got your rocker box in a situation where it's constantly churning up that material, you might want something to protect it. But also, it's not only doing that. These little cells here, the way that the thermodynamics work with your gold is they will settle out and they will trap inside of these little cells. This is actually fantastic stuff. And I dare say it even works better than Dream Mat, particularly for the clays involved. So you'll oftentimes find you'll get gold just right in along this little edge here, and of course underneath that it's collecting in these little cells in the actual mat down below. So that's kind of helping me visualize, and it's even rocking on its own. This is the most rewarding thing, when you get your tools to work for you like it's doing now. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, with as less effort as possible, you're getting the mechanics of what you are wanting for the end product to work. And this is why I say simple is best. Just simple physics. Okay, what's the next step? We have the entry point here for the material. We have the media inside, which is the mats and stuff to process the material and catch the gold. The next step would be to think about, how is the lighter material going to exit? And so with that, there's a few things we can do. We can cut out a big smiley face down here that basically lets everything run off, and we basically dump all the material very quickly. Or what we can also do is we can cut out a slit here, just in the middle, to allow for the big rocks to work themselves off and for the heavy material to constantly work itself down into that corner. So of those two, I'm actually favoring cutting out just a slit down the middle there to allow for the heavy material, or the lighter material, sorry, which is the bigger rocks, to work themselves off. So before we do that, though, we have to consider a few things. Number one, what is the size of the material that we're going to be putting in here? You know, how much material are we going to run? Are we talking about like 3 shovelfuls? Are we talking about an entire bucket full? What are we wanting to actually, how far are we willing to push this machine? And I think at first we kind of want to just be careful, because we don't know what it's capable of. We don't want to break it. I don't think it would break. This is very, very tough plastic. But we have to consider how this thing's going to clear itself off if we're running rocks that are basically the size of, like, my fist or larger, which we probably wouldn't do anyway. So, entry point, exit point. The third thing we have to consider is, how are we going to connect a handle to rock this thing with? There's a few ideas that come to mind. One of them, funnily enough, is that we might need to consider which end are we using for the handle. What's going to be the stronger end? And something tells me this is actually going to be the stronger end for the handle, simply because that's a lot harder plastic. This stuff is a little bit softer. So that's also something to consider. We have the option, either end, to cut out or exit. So, handle time. How are we going to rock this thing? What are we going to use for a handle? Well, we got to come over here and look in the junk pile and see what we've got. I got a stick The thing to remember is when you're building these things and you're walking along trying to get to a creek system, you want something that's always going to be lightweight as possible. You don't want to be getting like a big metal handle or something like that. So your options are wood, or you can use a bit of the plastic that came off of the unit. We've got here some aluminum that could work. So that's a mystery we'll have to solve pretty soon. So I'm going to go ahead and sit the camera down here, and we're just going to fumble around for a minute until we find out what we want to use for a handle. Bear with me. Too long. I'll just cut it down. Something like that. It's got a bit of a pommel on the end, but it's lightweight aluminum, you know? Something like that. That's what you want. You want shit that you're like easily can just pick up, and if you come across any attackers or anything, you can just go crazy on them, you know? But seriously, lightweight. Think lightweight. How are we going to attach it? I'm going to think about that too. Give me a minute. Okay, I think the way that I want to attach it is I want to make it detachable from the rocker box, which means I'm going to have to get something that basically can come out and grip it. It sits on the lid like that. So how do we do that? You'd need something that's kind of like a half moon type thing. Now, this is kind of throwing a kink in the wrench, in the chain of the whatever. I found this thing. This thing's even lighter. It's even smaller. Think about the ergonomics of your project. How are you going to use it in a practical way? Too many people throw shit together, including myself, and we don't think about how practically we're going to be using this in the settings. So it's always good to just, just visualize. Okay, all right. I got my gold bearing material here. I've got a shovel. Shoveling it in. how far do I want to be bending down to actually rock this thing? Do I want to be like that? Probably not. So maybe it is good to have it up like that, up that far. But not too far. How are we going to attach this thing to where it can detach? There are a few things I can do. I can take this handle and I can just make a hole here down here and I can shove it right down through the top. And this is where I've left this space flat and undisturbed to where I can maybe do just that. The other thing to consider though is how am I going to get it to attach to the bottom and not be trapping gold in there? So it may just simply be that we're going to have to make some little little latches that go on there, just a little coupler, some little just something to pin it and hold it there. We're going to need 2 of them. So back to the searching. I'll be back soon. Okay, I think I got it. Basically, all that has to happen is we've got to have a pipe for this to sit into, right? And you probably could have told me that in 5 seconds. That's what I needed to do. But I'm slow. So we got to find a way to drill something like this into the side of that bucket that's going to hold. But we have to have it open enough to where we can actually still get our handle in. So we could use that. We could use one of these. You know, a bit of rubber that little bit of the inside can grip, possibly. But I'm kind of favoring, at this stage, maybe having a bit of a very thick rubber pipe for that project, that particular purpose. This is a little bit too, I don't know. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I think that might be a winner. What do you reckon? Do you think we can do that? I like the chances. So maybe we'll try it. So come on over here. We're going to try to see if this will actually work. So we just got some PVC pipe, basically just like an offcut. We got the side of the doohickey, and we kind of want it to go end to end, and hold our handle. Come on. Just like that, just to visualize. Pretty much just like that. So we can rock along and get our gold. However, I don't like the chances of that plastic being durable enough to hold something like that and me rocking heavy material along. So maybe we need to reinforce that. Let's find something that we can reinforce that with and maybe bring it out just a little bit. Thinking about something. Hold on. Gonna need this thing. All right, we got something stronger. Oh, look at this. All right. This stuff is going to be a lot stronger than this stuff. That would hurt, right? This is going to be strong. And you know what? The other thing is, I like that this is more pliable than the aluminum. I like the fact that it's plastic because if I wanted to detect around there, I'm going to have less to contend with as far as metal goes. So, plastic handle or plastic bucket. I could drill basically into that right now if I wanted to and have this all done. But I'm going to need a longer section, I think. So let's kind of measure with our pimp cane exactly how long we want this thing to be. Probably not up here. No, probably maybe, what do you reckon? Maybe down there. I think about there. What do you think? Because, you know, if I'm coming along shoveling, I want to be like, kind of like that. So, probably there. That's what I'm thinking. I think that'll be sufficient. Let's do it. All right. We're gonna do it. Okay, I think that'll do. And just gotta cut that off and I'm going to come back and attach that real quick. This is a great thing about cheap projects as well. You don't have to worry so much about screwing shit up because it doesn't matter all that much. To me, it's life or death because it's taken me a long time to afford this bucket, so I'm really hoping I don't fuck up. For you guys, all right. We got the handle. Cool. Let's put it on there and make it work. Before I do that though, I like to finish things off to where they're not looking, where they got sharp burrs on stuff and everything. So let's get that checked off. Just like to take a steel file like that one, really nice, and just go along the edges. Just take off those little burrs. This is all stuff that you can do at home. You don't have to be a professional prospector or gold miner, you know. My struggle is no different to yours. Got to start somewhere. You might as well do it now while the gold price is through the roof. And it could even get even more. You know, gold could probably go so expensive. Find like 1 gram and it's like $1,000. Who knows? I doubt it would be like that, but you just never know. So it's a good thing to be in. Gold is a good thing to be in. It'll never let you down. Gold will never let you down. You will fall down, but gold will never let you down. There's plenty of it to be had. And yeah, you know, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay. Just getting those burrs off the end, see? Just so we don't cut ourselves on plastic, which I've done more times than I would like to admit. You know, plastic can be as dangerous as metal. Let me tell you. Don't ever let them tell you different. Plastic is evil. But it can be our friend in situations like this. You can do it. Do anything you put your mind to. Except fly without wings. You actually can't do that. So don't attempt it. Okay. So we got our handle. Getting ready to attach it to the bucket. Just like this. To our this is no longer a bucket. This is a rocker box. We got a slight problem. You might not be able to see this, but there's a little lip here, and it's preventing me to get close to the close enough to the bucket to attach properly. So I'm gonna have to make a little nick in this thing right about here, and I've got to kind of calculate where that is. So where is it? Do we want to use it that way, or is it curving outwards? Is that easier for us, or is this easier? Probably this is easier. I like this better. Okay, we got to find out where we've got to put the neck at. So we're going to go. Probably right about there. And rather than cut it, right, I'm just going to take the file and just go right here. Just like this. It's a little bit difficult doing it with the file. I just don't want to cut it because if I cut it, I might fuck it up. You know what? I'm going to have to cut it. It's just too much work. All right, we're just going to cut a little nick out of it. It's got to be about probably finger width thick. This is what's called redneck engineering, right? So, you know, don't do what I'm doing right here. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. I just want to make a little mark there, finger width. And on the other side. So we can lock this handle in. But just enough to where we don't destabilize the handle itself. The hell happened? What's going on? The fuck? What have I done? Oh, I was in green screen for a minute. Okay, don't worry, it's all good. Okay, so we got the neck cut out. We gotta finish cutting it out. So rather than, I keep saying rather than, but I keep doing it anyway. Yeah. I like building stuff with you guys. This is fun. Right? Anybody remember Mad TV? If you remember Mad TV, hit that like button. I remember Will Sasso, and he used to have a channel, or not a channel, but he used to have a segment on Mad TV. He's like a tool man. He's like a Tim the Tool Man spoof. If you ever watched that, you'd know what I'm talking about, but he would completely fuck himself up. This is not that kind of a show. Alrighty, so we got to find some way to get that out of this thingy. We don't want to really use that because it's probably just going to cut the fuck out of ourselves. Oh no, it's good. It's good. It's a good knife. Oh, there we go. Alrighty. Oh, come on. It's the worst thing you can be doing. Don't ever force a knife like that. You do that, what's going to happen is you might think it's hard on that end, then it's going to slip, and you're probably going to cut your cut a limb off. So don't do what I'm doing. All right, use proper tools. All right, so we want that to be pulled out. We got it pulled out. We got it popped out, and just want to get the other end out too. Come on. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day, beautiful morning, afternoon, whatever you're doing. If you're out on the gold today, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you find a big nugget. All right, so we got this little piece cut out, just barely, and It helps to have a bit of pliers to do this. So for those of you tuning in, what we're doing is basically we're putting a handle on our rocker box for the gold. So that's going to be fun. Now, all right, so we got it out of there. Kind of looks like a pipe, like a pipe organ pipe. All right, I'm going to pop it in there, see if it fits. And look at that. It fits like a glove. We might need to go a little bit deeper though. It's going to take it down just a little bit more. We don't want to lose the strength in the handle. So not quite halfway, but just a 75th. 3/4 of the way. And use proper tools, people. Don't do what I'm doing. You can end up cutting your hand off, your finger off, or something much worse. And don't ever cut towards yourself. Cut away from yourself, right? Cut away from your body, not towards your body. I don't believe how many people just ignore that rule I've worked with over the years. Cut away from your body at all times. And look at that. Look at this. We have just done the impossible. Seemingly impossible. It's locking right in there. Look at that. It's exactly what I wanted to happen. It's resting on the bottom of that lip. Connectivity, people. Connectivity. Essential. All right, so now we can basically just screw in, and we got it in there, don't we? Maybe, maybe not. All right, let's get some screws. Alrighty, let's get some screws. I love my drill. And I love these screws. Look at these. These are bastion screws. And they are galvanized so that they don't break. They don't rust. They are perfect screws. All right? These are fantastic. Now, like I said before, whenever you're building something, you might as well build something to last, okay? You don't want it to last maybe a year or 2 years. You want it to last 10, 15 years before you have to do anything else to it. And this plastic, while durable, I don't like the chances of it standing up to the punishment that I'm gonna give it, right? So we're gonna reinforce this with a little bit of wood, okay? Because wood is very tough and it is built. We don't build wood. I'll be right back. I'm back. Wood. This is treated pine. Look at it. Good old H3 treated pine. Ants aren't going to try and eat this stuff. You're hopefully not going to try and eat this stuff. I don't want to be hearing stories about people trying to eat the treated pine because it's pretty bad. Bit of arsenic in this stuff and a whole bunch of other shit. Tobacco and nicotine and everything else. All right, now we just got to shave off the top of that to get it to fit on the barrel. So we've got an even fit. Trouble is now, looking at this though, look at the thickness of that, the thickness of the lip on this thing. I don't even know if this is going to work. So maybe we need to find something just the thickness of that, or even thinner. So fucking forget the wood. I'll be back again. writing can. All right, we got this thing. It's a little bit thinner. And I think it's going to be more suited for what we need. Just something to, as a barrier against our handle and that plastic. All right, that's looking pretty good. One test we will have to make, though, is this going to split? So I'm going to take my screw. I'm going to run it through. It doesn't split. That's good. I like it. I think I'll keep it. I think I'll use it. But we're going to have to mark it down because it's a little bit too tall. So we're going to go. All right. Because I'm stupid, I don't have a marker. I'm going to take a screw and just kind of trace a line. Because remember, we're just throwing this shit together, guys. We're not building stuff for like a production, right? We're making prototypes that work. Working prototypes. That's all this is about. Let's cut it. Just when I said I didn't have a pen, I just found one, so just kind of defeated my whole purpose in life. All right. All right. Power. I'm just kidding. I'm fine. I've been through way more shocking things than that in my life. Okay. Here we go. Now, come to think of it, I remember my stepdad telling me, like, boy, as soon as I touch this power box, if you see me shaking and all, take this piece of wood, you hit me as hard as you can. You knock me off that power box with it. Because this wood ain't going to transfer any electricity. You understand me? I'm sitting there going, what? Anyway, let's do this. Again, don't do this. Do things properly. Okay. We got the barrier in between here and there. And so now, we've got to screw the barrier on. I'm going to take these screws. We're going to do just that. We're going to go one. But we want to find the toughest part of the plastic first. Which is the toughest part? I would say that this little ring here, you probably can't even see that. Little ring on this plastic, we're going to try and link into first before anything else. We're going to go boom. Come on. Work with me. All right, here we go. You ready? Perfect. We got one in. Let's do the other one. I can already taste the gold. The gold doesn't even have a taste. But it is edible. Okay. This screw is just going to go in the bottom of our shoe. Oh, I'm just kidding. Not that crazy. All right, here we go. want to strip those screws out. We just want to go just enough, right? Looks good. Now, I think we might be ready for the handle. No. You know what? We got a problem now. Ooh, we got a bit of a problem. These little ends of the screws are kind of presenting an issue with how this thing's supposed to be locking in because it's pushing it out. I got a solution for that. You see these little aluminum Christmas trees, little golden Christmas trees? Get yourself one, because I tell you right now, it'll change your life. These are little hole saw thingies. They help you make holes in things. Okay, you just go on your drill like this. Come on, make a fool of me. I'm making it myself. I can do that just fine, thank you. Okay, we need to make some little holes in this plastic to get those the screws in. So we got to kind of visualize. These screws are about that thick on the end. So we kind of need to go up to that thickness on our little Christmas tree. So maybe about, let's say there, probably about the 6th ring on this tree in our plastic. So let's do it, but we got to kind of mark them first. So let's go down the bottom. We're looking at that one being right smack down in the middle where our thumb is here. Okay. Let's get it in there. And not drill through our hand. I want you to see how easily this can make the perfect hole. Oh, wow. And it's just perfect. Look at that. We now have the perfect size hole to accommodate that screw. Okay. So we got the first one. Perfect. See, that locks in. That's beautiful. The next one is just up here. Just right here where my bird finger is. The one that I use to flip off people with. Only the ones that deserve it. Okay, we're gonna screw in just there. Okay, let's do it. Remember, 6 holes. I wasn't even counting, but it should look something like that. Okay, all right. Now, with any luck, they're gonna line up, and they do, beautifully. All right, so we got it. Kind of, not really, damn it. Oh, the fucking bottom one doesn't want to go in. Okay, so we're kind of bigger on the bottom one. That's fine, just as long as it slots in. Within reason. There we go. All right, folks, now I think we're kind of ready now to screw this handle on. Let's move on, you know, let's get off this train onto something else. All right, get our bit back in there. This really does help me. You know, doing this live stream thing while I'm building shit, making a complete ass of myself. Pretty cool. Kind of motivating me to fuck things up hard. Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna go with the first hole. You know what I've just realized? That screw's not going to be long enough. I'm going to have to go back a step, just quickly. Get our Christmas tree back on there. And take the small one. And we're just going to make a big hole for this screw to go through the handle. And go through the other side. That's what we want. We just want that screw to go through the other side. You guys can't see shit. How are you gonna learn anything? What the hell? We're gonna fix that. Okay. Come around here so you can actually see. Now, you should be able to kind of see what's going on. We're kind of trying to go with this thing. So we're locked in there. We got to get this screw back in that hole. Helps to have 2 drills. Helps to have 4 hands, 8 arms, and 3 brains. Okay, here we go. I can already taste the gold. We just weren't quite thick enough with the hole. I'll take it out again. Need a big giant hole in this plastic. We're getting there though. I tell you, by the end of this evening, we're gonna have a gold rocker box that's gonna beat them all. Boy. Let's use a big Christmas tree for this one. What do you reckon? Have a big Christmas this year? Let's have a big Christmas tree time right now. Should be pretty easy to visualize if you're drunk as a skunk how all this is going to work out. But not in the present state you might be able to be in. Okay, big hole. You reckon that's big enough? Remains to be seen. Okay. Now, get the screw back on the thingy. There. You guys having a good night, good day? I hope you are, though. All right, let's get this thing attacked. I want to start getting gold right now. Come on, get through the hole. There we go. Aha! There we go. It's all starting to come together now. Just gotta line that back up. There we go. Get it snug tight on the inside. Okay, let's do the other one. I can already taste that gold. It's tasting like a Zinger box. KFC. Mentos fresh, full of life. It's getting hot out here. I gotta take my jacket off. Damn. This is a long-ass build. What do you reckon? Okay. Screw time. Let's get it on there. Found a bucket of kerosene on the way home. It was fun. Ah, that's much more secure. Now with each succeeding screw, this is going to get better and better and better. I'm going to put a few of them in there, so don't rock just yet. We're not ready to rock just yet, buddy. Now you want to rock. I want to rock too. We gotta do this first. All right, so another one down here. Remember, we're gonna be hauling some material, so we want to be very thorough. With this build. So the more screws in strategic places, the better. Mentos fresh. Something about the Mentos. Mentos fresh. Get in there. Yeah. All right. Cool. Is that strong enough? Let's find out. You know what? I don't like the chances of that being strong enough. I'm going to take that one out. I'm going to put a fresh one in. A bit of a straighter angle. You don't want anything wonky. Put wonky stuff on this. You're going to get wonky gold. When you get wonky gold, it's worth about 1/3 of the price of normal gold. Why? Now, I'm so stupidly pedantic and paranoid. I want to go, maybe put some on the inside to go out. What do you reckon? Should we sandwich this thing together? I think we should. Because as it stands, I do want a sandwich, by the way. But look on the inside of that. These are poking out. I want some poking in, too, to sandwich this handle to the thingy, right? That's what I want. So let's do it. The last thing you want is to be out on the gold fields, getting your gold, and your fucking handle breaks. Can you imagine what kind of a shit situation that's going to be if your handle breaks off? Your handle is the most important part of this thing. You could throw the rest of it away. Just keep the fucking handle. You'd be able to just maybe point it at the gold and it'll just jump into your pan. All right. All because it just thinks you're nuts, so. Oh, fuck, we will not fuck with this dude. Just get in the pan. All right, let's get some screws in there. Easier said than done. Can we do it? Maybe. Ooh, I got one. Let me tell you, I'm feeling a lot better about sandwiching this handle inside of a trommel. because it's just going to be tough, you know? It's going to be Josh tough. It's going to be fucking, you know? It's going to be like eating nuts and bolts fucking tough, right? That's what you want. Because gold is tough. Prospecting is tough. Your equipment has got to be at least as tough as getting gold. Shit. Get on there. Oh, you We're gonna get it. We're gonna slate this fucker right now. Come on. Fuck it, we'll do it live. We'll do it live. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta get a bit of an attitude with your shit, you know? And then you get it done a lot quicker. And a lot better, too. All right, one more. I've never been up against the rock before. All right. Get a taste of some beef jerky, huh? Step into a Slim Jim. Okay. Maybe not. Anyway, this is what it should look like. Pretty much. And look at that. It's doing all the work for you. Look at it. See? Your balance point is pretty good. Not perfect, but that's what you want. You want your material to be rocking. Rocking and rolling. All right. I'm pretty happy with that. Look at that. That's pretty damn good. And what's the next step? We got all this stuff on here. Let's just do a spin test. This thing's gonna have to fucking break dance as good as I can, or it's not gonna pass the test. Whoa. All right, can you chop my moves on the break dance floor? Trommel. Let's see. Remains to be seen. Oh, that's gonna be a tough act to beat. All right, here I go. I'm representing all of Australia here. Okay, I'm gonna spin like a top right. Okay, here we go. See? There we go. So yeah, Trommel beat me. Trommel wins the breakdancing award for Australia. Look at it. It's still going too. Look at that. How could I ever beat that? Right? I mean, ray gun has nothing on this thing. All right, cool. We're all entitled to our mistakes on the dance floor. I got 2 left feet. I wouldn't know how to dance to save my fucking life. But anyway, we got the gold rocker box, and it's already proven itself. It's given me joy and happiness in my life, and I hope it's given you some kind of some kind of an emotion, whether that be anger or resentment or inspiration of some sort, just something. Okay, there we have it. Now, let's get serious here for a second. Where are we going to go and test this thing? What do you reckon? We're going to have to probably go down to the creek to test it because that's where the gold is. So, do you think we should go now? Or should we just wait a minute and go later? I don't know. We'll find out. What do you think, Rockerbox? I think we should go out in the dark of night and risk the drop bears and the kangaroos and everything else in the Australian bush. Should we risk the ghost of Ned Kelly? Should we risk? Should we risk? God, what's his name? Should we risk Wolf Creek for the gold? I don't know. I do know that this thing looks fucking cool, though. Man, it's one other thing we got to do, though. We got to think about how we're going to eject the material outside the barrel. We got the centrifuge built. It's looking pretty good. But how are we going to eject the material? What I'm thinking is, whenever you're building shit, does this ever happen to you? Do you ever just see patterns and you think to yourself, hey, I could maybe make this thing, right? I'm thinking that with this thing right now. I could literally just come along and go, bump, bump. See this little rectangle here? I could just cut that out. And that might be the start of our ejection for the material. To make the cut is the decisive act. Because once you make it, there's no going back. You got to really think about this. All right? What's our water level going to be at? Water level is probably going to be up here somewhere. So if we're going to make this cut, we might want to just trust in the machine. I think the barrel knows better than we do. I think the rocker box knows better than we do. So let's go and let's say, all right, I like the suggested water line that is just about here, right? And I like the fact that that triangle has suggested to me the size of the rocks that should be ejected from this unit. So we're going to trust in the machine and we're going to cut just along there, right? Because the mechanics is when we rock along, right, our big rocks and lighter material are going to be on the top, rocking along, and the heavy stuff is going to be collecting down here. So maybe that's a good ejection point. Possibly. We could be wrong, but there's always ways to fix it in the end. So I think we should just trust it, and we're going to cut this out and stop being an annoying fuckface for a minute. All right, let's do it. We're going to go down to Wolf Creek tonight, people. Did I ever tell you about the time don't worry about it. Smells like a goddamn birthday candle. All right. Time to use hand tools. Fuck it. Come on now. Where you going, city boy? Don't know nothing. Oh. All right, so we've made the incision. We haven't made the cut yet, which is the incision. We haven't actually gotten it out yet. There's a few things we can do before we actually just rip this out of here. We could consider cutting right down the middle there, which would offer two little flaps that might help direct the material down into the sluice box. So let's maybe try that first before we go destroying things beyond repair. All right? Because remember, doing these projects is all about opportunity. If there's an opportunity that you see that could make things a little bit more improved, it's always good to take a little bit of time and go, okay, let's try that. If it doesn't work, we can always fix it later. But spontaneous, on-the-job improvement, thinking outside the box, taking risks, that's what it's all about. Okay. All right. Whoa. So we got a flap.
Flappity yappity you. Whoopie yuppie.
Oh, okay. All right. We're going to open the flaps now. Look at that. We kind of got it open. Opening the other one. Yeah. Come on down. These are hard flaps. Actually, this is the only... All right, come on now. Open up. But you see what I mean? This kind of gives us the opportunity to then think about, hang on, what could we do with these flaps? Could we attach something to it to make our lives easier? Yes, indeed we could. We definitely could. Doing, we can certainly attach something to those flaps. It might enhance the gold recovery process. So don't get rid of them just yet, until you know you're not going to need them. Okay. Alrighty, looking good. Looking pretty darn snazzy. And I'm looking like shit. Okay, we have our exit for the material. Look at that. All in the span of 95 minutes, we've taken something that was relatively useful and completely fucked it up. Okay, now, come here. Wrong. Rock with me. Rock with me. Come on, rock it. I'm thinking that might actually work. And it kind of looks like Ned Kelly, too. I might call this the Ned Kelly. Maybe not. I'll call it the Nedster. All right? Cool. So now we got to think about how the material is going to be ran. What size material are we looking at? It can't be any bigger than that, because how the fuck are we going to get out of there? Maybe through the top. We can run anything through this if we want to. But now it's all about how can we test this thing? Well, we might have to come back for that, people, because as it stands, this stuff is still going to be drying for the next 3 days. So it might just simply be that we'll do a part 2 to this colossal fuck up. And if you're around by then, you might get to see some gold that comes out of it. Well, guys, I really do hope you enjoyed this insane fucking live stream. I'm freezing my ass off, so I'm probably going to knock off for the rest of the evening. But I hope you've had a wonderful, arduous, and difficult time trying to figure out what the fuck's going on here. And if you figured it out, then you're a cut above me and everybody else. So thank you so much, and you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will see you in the next stream. All right? Okay. Trommel time, people. Gold. I'll see you next time.